Sorry about that. Let us continue. So I was just saying that I cannot tell you which areas to buy property from and which areas to buy not to buy from, because by doing that I'll be promoting some areas, and in the eyes of other people I may be discrediting other areas, which is not and it has never been the intention of our broadcast. However, the information we provide can at least inform you in knowing and understanding which areas are good and which areas are not good. Which areas are good and which areas are not good. So, when you buy land in areas that are like swamps, areas where sugar cane grows, sweet potatoes grow very, very well, be careful with such areas. Be very, very careful with such areas. Okay? Because a long time ago, there are certain areas, allow me to mention, for example, in Charleston area or in Minwood areas. Some of these areas, even by the reeds that grow there, the grass that grows there, you can tell that this area is, the only other thing that should be here is fish or frogs or bottle fish. What are these? Ndombe. Catfish. So you go and buy a house or a plot in that area. You are already inviting problems. That's why we should think about the future. And some areas, by the way, you can buy cheaply, but eventually you will suffer. Okay? So when buying property, you shouldn't buy property out of desperation. You should always buy property as an investment. A place where you can stay, a place where you can live. By the way, I'm taking a walk. Excuse my manners. A place where you can live and a place where you can live for your children or your children's children. Number 4, if you ever find yourself in a place where it's those bad soils, by the way, there is no soil that is 100% perfect. Even if we talk about sandy soils, like Western Province that has pure sand, the most sandy place in Zambia, Western Province, and a bit of Kapiri as well. And some places around beaches, Lake Mweru, Lake Bangweuru, Siavonga, places like that. Okay? If we ever look at the soils in Western Province, even there you need to do certain things on your foundation to make sure that that soil, that property doesn't collapse. Your foundation has to go slightly deeper. The bedrock of your slab has to be fortified with a proper soil texture. And in Western Province, it's very difficult even to find gravel. Where will you find it? Unless you are in the Kaoma or Sioma, Senanga areas where we even have some mountains. But when you go to areas like Lukulu, Kalabo, you are probably not going to find gravel. So you need to do certain other things, techniques, such as fortifying, thickening your slab, using sometimes even double conforce wire or industrial conforce wire. You have to spend more in the beginning to avoid problems in future, including putting, there is what we call that one. It's like a cloth, please forgive me, protecting moisture from coming from underneath to going to your house. Okay? There are so many procedures, using plastic, using conforce wire, and so on and so forth. Elevating your slab. Number 5, you can correct certain flooding problems from the beginning. So I'll give you an example. There is a man in my neighborhood here where I am who recently bought a plot. And he immediately started doing works on his plot. And I approached him. I said to him, "Sir, you're welcome in the neighborhood. But I want to share with you some information. This plot where you have bought, it floods. My wife said, leave him, you also, you talk too much. I was like, yeah, I'm talking too much because I want to help him to prevent a problem in future. I said, before you build your wall fence, here are some steps that I'm suggesting to you that you can do to elevate your wall fence, elevate your house. Hey, did he listen? The problem with building is there is a way people get very excited about building that sometimes they forget to do due diligence, they forget to ask questions, they forget to study the landscape of where they are at. He didn't listen. And this was like 2 months ago. And he started building his wall fence. And as I speak to you, the wall fence is complete. But I can tell you right now, there are very few people who are happy about this man in the neighborhood, because the quality of his wall fence is so pathetic. These people who have money but no class. The quality of his wall fence is very bad. 2, his wall fence is already flooded and flooding. And I told him. Now, obviously, he thought I wanted to make money. Yes. Did I just want to tell him for nothing? I wanted to make money. Yes. But a part of me was just humanitarian side, trying to help somebody. So, let's now talk about what do you do when you have bought in the wrong place. You didn't know, you were lied to, or you lied to yourself, and your house is now flooding. I have very sad news for you. There is very little you can do. So let's give an example of Protea Hotel at Arcades yesterday. One of the challenges with the buildings, by the way, is that sometimes you can buy a property today and then a road is constructed in front of your property, and then that road, whereas in the past rainwater used to drain outside your yard, now rainwater is trapped. So let's talk about Protea Hotel, for example. A whole hotel, beautiful hotel, flooded. Why? Because of concrete. These concretes that we build around our properties without a drainage plan will always lead to that. So Protea has to make a decision now or sometime in future to elevate that entire parking lot, which will be a very expensive decision, to elevate that entire parking lot by about 1 meter and create a drainage on one side, a scoop of water that will run all the way up to Greatest Road. That may mean closing down the ground floor. I'm just saying. Option 1. Option 2 could be to build very big soakaways right there. But when I look at our drainage, maintenance policy and culture in our country, it is quite possible that if they did that, tomorrow that will become a rubbish dump site for other people. Look at the Millennium Challenge project where drainages were built all over Lusaka at humongous amounts. They built drainages and then abandoned them. There was no vehicle that was designed to clean those drainages, to repair those drainages. And some of those drainages, I hope they worked yesterday. I don't know. This is not political criticism. This is engineering conversation. I hope we can distinguish the two and remain objective as well as open-minded. The worst thing that you may have to do with your property is you may have to demolish it and start afresh. That is sad, that is costly, but it may still be cheaper than going to buy elsewhere. You may have to demolish certain properties. And the worst case scenario, you may just have to sell that property and go and invest in the right area or the right neighborhood. Think about that. Pray about that. But whatever it is, water is a very powerful weapon of nature. Water attacks the roof just as much as it attacks the ground. There are rivers and streams underneath our grounds. That's why for those of us who are building now, we have a chance and an opportunity to do the right thing for the next generation. All right, let me finish my walk. Have a lovely, beautiful day. This is your friend and brother Mubita now, and I wish you great success in your building project and in your identification of future building projects. Remember, just because something is wrong today doesn't mean it can never be fixed, nor does it mean you can never get it right tomorrow. You can. But opportunity cost is one thing, replacement cost is another thing, but the most expensive decision in life is not taking a decision at all.